Google Nest Learning Thermostat, Hive Mini, which one is better and why? In today's video, I'll be comparing two of the most popular thermostats which you can get in the consumer world of heating. Yes, there are many other brands that offer the same sort of thermostat, but when you think of smart thermostats, these are the two brands that my brain especially fires to. And of course, you can go straight out and buy and manufacture a thermostat which will have all the fancy features, but they're often very expensive and quite fiddly to install. Stick around to the end of the video to see the main factor that separates these two thermostats, as it's quite a game changer. The Google Nest thermostat was first introduced in 2011. The Nest brand was originally owned by Nest Labs, which was co-founded by former Apple engineers Tony Fadell and Matt Rogers. There are now more than 4 generations of that original thermostat, and the Google Nest Learning Thermostat is in its 3rd generation on its own. There's been a lot of tweaks to this device to make it what it is today. It has soon become the best of its bunch due to its AI self-learning capabilities. Based on how you adjust your thermostat throughout the day, it will learn this and create its own automatic schedule based on what you input. So let's say you wake up at 6:30, you come downstairs, you turn on the thermostat to around 20 degrees, eat your breakfast with your dressing gown on, shoot upstairs, get ready for work. Before you leave for the office, you turn it down to maybe 5 degrees, head to work, come back, turn it up at 5:30, turn it off before nighttime. You get the picture. The Google Nest Learning Thermostat will learn these habits, these patterns, and create an automatic schedule so you no longer have to adjust the thermostat as and when you need. When you wake up at 6:30, the house will already be warm. When you go downstairs, you'll be nice and toasty. When you leave for work, the boiler will shut off. And when you come home, the temperature will rise to make sure the house is warm for when you arrive. With the Hive Mini, you'd have to program this in via the app, which is very difficult to do as you don't know how your day will actually go. The times and schedules may change without you even realizing it. There are patterns that you won't even notice yourself that the Nest Learning Thermostat will pick up on. For example, a certain week every month you may work a different location, you may work for longer, you may be a bit more tired so you wake up later, you may set off for work later. All these things can't be changed when you've set them in stone on the Hive Mini Thermostat. With the Nest Learning Thermostat, it will pick up these patterns and create an automatic schedule based on what goes on. A lot of people who set schedules in the Hive app don't ever look back at them, they never change them, and never even look at their circumstances as to why it may need to change. The Google Nest will do this all for you, which is quite a big saver. Not only will it make your central heating run a lot more efficiently by not heating up the house when no one's in, it actually just makes it more comfortable in your home by having the house at the temperature you want, when you want it, not because you've told the Hive thermostat to come on at a certain time. Now, the Hive Mini doesn't have any of these smart learning capabilities, but for this to be a fair bout, we have to consider the price. At the time of filming this video, the Google Nest Learning Thermostat retails for £190 from Screwfix. From the same store, you can pick up the Hive Mini for £120, which is a total £70 saving. Where the Hive Mini does trump the Google Nest Learning Thermostat is in the ecosystem it comes with. The Hive Mini Thermostat can work alongside the Hive TRV, which you can install in your property in a matter of minutes. With the Hive app, you can then control each radiator inside your home to make the optimum temperature across each floor. I often moan about my attic being roasting and my corridors being freezing, whilst my living room is the perfect temperature. With the TRVs, this has fixed the issue, and my house is beautifully warm across each floor. Currently, the Google Nest Thermostat doesn't have any TRVs application. There are no Google TRVs, which makes this very difficult to do. Google have released these temperature sensors which can go inside each room inside your home, but then you'd have to manually go upstairs, adjust a TRV on the radiator to get it to that certain temperature. The selling pitch of these temperature sensors were that the boiler would increase temperature when the temperature sensors weren't hitting the right points. For example, you might have your bedroom set to 22 degrees on this temperature sensor, but downstairs is a 20 degrees because of the thermostat. They somehow expect the boiler to increase in temperature to make sure the bedroom hits 22 degrees, but then downstairs in the living room where your thermostat is, it's never gonna stay at 20 degrees. It's gonna increase to 22, so then the whole house is 22 degrees, and the living room might be too hot at 22 degrees. The attic will be roasting at 22 degrees. There's a lot of flaws with that system. Of course, you could go for third-party TRVs and link them with the Google Nest Learning Thermostat, but that just sounds more of a faff than it's worth doing. With the Hive, it's all in the app, nice and easy to set up, and you can view all the temperatures in your house just from the app and adjust accordingly. So for £70 more, what do you actually get with the Google Nest? The Nest has a great feature called Far Sight, and not only does this allow the screen to come on as you approach it, which is a great feature which I wish the Hive had, it can detect if there's any motion inside a room to see if it actually needs heating, which is quite crazy to think about. This can be a bad point if you imagine sitting on the sofa for 3 hours watching Lord of the Rings, there's no motion inside the entire room, the heating goes off and you eventually get cold. However, when you walk towards the Google Nest thermostat and the screen comes on and tells you what the temperature is across the home, it is quite a nice feeling. When you go to the Hive, you have to press a button, wait for it to load up and tell you what the temperature is. So that is definitely a win for the Google Nest. With the motion feature, if you did leave the house, it would know that you aren't there, so therefore it could drop the temperature down. And the Hive Mini does do this with geolocation, but it's just not as intuitive as the motion sensor. Appearance-wise, the circular form factor of the Google Nest Learning Thermostat is definitely a win. I like how it looks. It looks similar to my Worcester 8000 with the circular display, so I'm a big fan of how it looks. Function-wise, I love how intuitive the spinny dial is, as it isn't as small as the Hive original. It's the full face of the Google Nest can spin, which is a mint feature and feels really nice too. I think it's very easy to teach that to an elderly person or someone who just doesn't understand technology. It's very easy, spin the dial like it is on an old thermostat or an old boiler, quite easy to understand. The screen itself is full color, which looks great, and it hasn't got that mirror finish like the Hive Mini, which does actually get on my nerves. It collects dust easily, it picks up light from the window, and often it reflects the TV, which is very frustrating for some reason. In my opinion, the Hive Mini does look more futuristic. Now, this did come out in 2022, so that could be the reason as to why, but side by side, I would definitely say the Hive Mini looks better, but the Google Nest functions better, if that makes sense. I don't like pressing the touchscreen on the Hive Mini. It creates a lot of fingerprints, whereas the spinny dial on the Google Nest Learning Thermostat is just an overall winner. From an installation standpoint, I'd say it's quite even. The Google Nest does take a bit more wiring as it has to have power to the actual Nest itself, whereas the Hive Mini just runs on batteries, which I think just makes a lot more sense. You have to run a power source to this Google Nest, which is a bit of a pain, but you can buy a stand which has power going to it, which may be the better option. Following on from my Hive Mini review, go check it out up there if you haven't already. The Google Nest is actually OpenTherm compatible. OpenTherm turns your simple on and off thermostat into a more dimmer switch kind of vibe. It's like turning your boring Fiat Panda stopping and starting in traffic to a drift car, which has the perfect drift around a bend forever and ever. OpenTherm is a great feature of a thermostat which you do really want if you want to make incredible savings. Basically, on the Hive Mini, if you have it set to 21 degrees as the target temperature, the boiler will fire up, probably reach around 22, turn off, and it will drop down to 21. Eventually, this will fall below 21 and the boiler will come back on again to get it back up. This will happen again and again, going up and down, up and down, up and down, until you eventually turn it off at night time to go to bed. As you can imagine, this constantly firing up and down, known as cycling, can cost you a lot of money over the period of a year. OpenTherm is completely different. Instead of it being up and down in like a wave motion, it will literally go up nice and gradually, and then it will peak at the 21 degrees you set it to, and it will stay there. It may fluctuate tiny little bits, but nothing crazy compared to the Hive, which allows the boiler to modulate, which is what boilers are designed to do. You buy a really fancy brand new boiler, you spend thousands of pounds on it, and it has a great modulation ratio of, let's say, 1 to 10. If you aren't using a modulating thermostat with OpenTherm, you aren't making the most of your actual boiler. So this is the main feature which separates the two thermostats. OpenTherm is just a crazy software and technology which I think should be in every thermostat, but for some reason there just isn't. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Hive Thermostat Mini is a great little bit of kit. If you watch the review, you watch the comparison videos, you'll see that I do rave about this thing. As for £120, it can still save you a lot of money when compared to a manual thermostat, the EPH Combi 4, whatever comes with your boiler. This will save you more money. Many people don't even bother with a schedule on their manual thermostat because it's just a pain in the arse to do. This is nice and simple through the app, takes a few seconds, 6 different times across a day. Each day can be different every week. It's pretty good. The geolocation, the controlling it with Alexa, controlling it with your phone, definitely worth picking up. However, if you do want to make those incredible savings, you do have the extra £70, the Google Nest Learning Thermostat is definitely the way to go. I wouldn't bother with the Nest Thermostat E or the original Nest thermostat. This is the only way I would go if you're going to go for Google. I think with OpenTherm, you would save that £70 difference anyway. If you think about it across a year, the constant cycling, it must cost quite a bit of money. It would be great for someone to do a science experiment where they compare the Mini for a year to the Google Nest. However, the way gas prices are going, next year, the cost of gas may be different to this year, so it is very hard to get that data. I'm currently trialing the Hive Mini in my property, and I will definitely be switching over to the Nest to see if the OpenTherm saves me all that money. Overall, I would say the Google Nest Learning Thermostat definitely takes the cake on this comparison video. The OpenTherm just separates it completely from the rest. However, the battle is quite close. I think if Google Nest release their own TRVs, it is over and the Hive will never be able to catch up. But as the Hive has its own TRVs, the ecosystem's a lot better. The battle at the moment is very close. Let me know your thoughts below. Which do you prefer? If you could only have one, which one would you go for? Of course, we sell both of these at iHeat. You can add it to any of your orders. Head to iheat.co.uk/quote. We offer next day boiler installation from one of our 350 gas safe registered engineers nationwide. They can be at your property the very next day after ordering the boiler to install it, and they could install one of these thermostats if you add it to your basket. We have over 7,000 Trustpilot reviews, we offer a fixed price quote, and we have a variety of finance packages available too. That has been the comparison video between the Google Nest Learning Thermostat and the Hive Mini. If you have found this video useful, or if you've seen some of our content before, please do subscribe down below. Currently 80% of you aren't actually subscribed to the channel, so a lot of the time you are watching the video but you aren't getting our latest updates and seeing the new ones when they come out. If you've seen us before, if you've seen any of our content, you like what we do, please subscribe. It really helps us know we're doing the right thing and reaching our right audience. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. This has been iHeat.